Welcome to another episode of Marketing 101 for Chiropractors, where we keep you ahead of the curve, attracting more new patients and growing your business. Now, here's your host, Dr. D himself.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing 101 for Chiropractors. We are all decked out in our studio. That's cool. Thanks to Corey. Corey's from Fusion Media AI. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for hooking us all up. This is going to be a cool podcast about AI. And Corey's actually a patient of ours. His whole family comes, sees us at our office, and he told me all about AI. And I was like trying to scratch my head about AI for like 2 years. And he's like, no, I do it. I'm like, this is amazing. So I think this is going to be a great podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. And I'm excited to talk about everything.
Nice. So when it comes to AI and marketing, where do you think this is all going? Because AI has been used for a long time. There's Siri, there's Alexa, there's Google, there's all these things that have been using AI to try to depict what we think we want or what we need. But when it comes to video, audio, and all these things, you know, it's kind of scary. We're like, who are we looking at? Is this truly the right people? Where do you think AI is moving for as far as marketing? Are we going to see more of this? Are we going to be more restricted to it?
Well, really, it's funny the advancement that we've made in such a short period of time. Because we all know like the Will Smith pizza commercial kind of benchmark. And if you haven't seen that, it was where it looked like spaghetti going everywhere. And then, you know, a year later, it looks like Will Smith. And now you wouldn't really be able to distinguish the difference. And even people on like the inside at Google are like, you should see VO 7 and how good it is. And we're only on VO 3.1 for context.
Right.
So the rate at which it's progressing, it's never going to slow down, and it's just unlocking crazy opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more about how you implement it within the marketing strategies. And for me, and what we're going for is the lifelike type content.
Right.
So, you know, for you and what we were doing for you, it's you standing in your office, sounds like you, looks like you, talks to your, you know, patients or leads, and they're familiar with your brand and all of that. And from there, it's, you can then take that and put that out there with not ever taking your time to produce that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you get into all this? I mean, you've been in media for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I started, 7th grade on VHS tapes,
Nice.
you know, and went to college for it, just a couple years to get what I needed, and had been working pretty much since I started. Tampa Bay Lightning as an intern when they won the first Stanley Cup, and then just traveled the world filming and producing shows. And from there, you know, really kind of had amassed a knowledge of everything within the production realm. So from producing to editing to DPing, and I watched certain things cannibalize other things. I became a TV producer, and then YouTube came out, and I was like, oh, whatever, because you couldn't even put high quality video on the internet, right?
Right.
And then I became a TV producer, and I was doing all these things, and social media and YouTube and the like cannibalized the ads dollar space in regular TV and traditional. So that completely crushed, you know, this whole thing that I had built a career around. So when AI started coming, I was like, no, this isn't happening again. And I fully dove into it years ago. And it started with, oh, let's go raise $10 million so we can do what we think we're able to do, which we're doing right now.
Right.
You know, which I like to call like a digital human. You know, we made a digital human of yourself so that you could go advertise for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so right now we could be producing video content while you're sitting here doing this.
Yeah.
And not having to go shoot that later.
That's right.
So that's kind of the evolution of how I got here. But having the production knowledge, and it's the same exact workflow, it's just a different camera. And when you really think about it from that lens, it makes a lot more sense, and it decomplicates it.
Yeah.
From the client's end, or, you know, the lead's end or anything, you really never want to have to, you know, deal with AI per se.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why do you need to learn all about AI? Or why does, you know, a doctor that's running a practice have to understand all this to go put all this out here? No, you can just produce content in the same fashion, deliver them even better quality ads, even more creative and on brand ads for a price point that's never been, you know, achievable.
Right. And time. I mean, the biggest thing as an entrepreneur, I've been a big advocate for chiropractors to understand how to run ads, Google ads, SEO, Facebook, Instagram. I've been a huge proponent of making sure that they know
Be
so that they,
relevant.
yeah, so they understand it. And I've done it in my practice and we've had great success with it. But a big thing we talked about a couple of weeks ago was about Google ads and how the Google era in 2000, how you had time to figure it out. Well, there was restaurants with no websites for like 15 years, right?
Yeah.
They're like, I'm not getting one. And then they finally got one in like 2014. And it took them a long time. You do not have 14 years to figure this out right now, the hyper speed of how we're going. And that's why I think this is so great is like, yes, be a proponent, understand how it works, but to sit behind and do what Corey does, you will not have the time to do this. But you can definitely create the content in minutes, which is amazing. And then having somebody like him do it for you. So that's what I'm really excited about this episode, because the listeners are going to be like, okay, I'm listening. What do we do? So it's absolutely amazing. What you've seen in Facebook right now is for the ad, I've been running them for 7 years. Been absolutely fantastic. Built my practice off Facebook. I mean, just being honest, where we've gone to today was Facebook. And what has happened is the content keep up has been really tough. You gotta, it used to be post every day. Now it's post 5 times a day. If you're truly doing the Instagram stuff,
Yep.
it's 5 times a day. I'm like, yeah. And then even myself and my team have fallen off. There's just, so where are we going next?
Burnout.
Burnout.
You know, now you're not focusing on your practice, but now every day you're beating yourself up
Right.
because you feel like you're not doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
You see your peers doing it and you're like, how are they doing it? How much are they spending? You're
Right.
doing it for them.
Right. And none of your peers are doing it. You're going to be the first ones doing it. So this is why I'm excited about it. So, and then number 2 was the whole Google thing. The time you had to get into Google, cost per click for 20 cents a click, and get your Google profile set up and set up a website that was pretty crappy back in the day, and then have to revamp it every couple of years because it was growing. You just do not have that time right now. So what you need to be focusing on is on your business, and 2, how you can take a still frame photo and pretty much create dozens of ads. So the point I'm trying to make is, even though as exponentially as social media is going right now, you will not be able to keep up unless you have AI. That's it. It's the end of the road.
Yeah.
And so by doing that, it is huge. So this is where you and I are gonna talk about how we can strategize moving ads. And the thing you're seeing across the country and around the world is, if you've been running ads, they're burning out. They're burning out really quick. Your frequency is going up for the people that know what I'm talking about. Frequency is going up quickly. Why? Because you're using the same video. I've been running the same decompression ad for 3 years. The same one, me standing in front of the camera, talking for 5 minutes about decompression, what happens with spinal herniations. And it still generates, but it's costing me more, just like it used to back in the day, cost per click. It's cost per view. It's just slowly creeping up, not because of the burnout of the video per se, but because of competition. More chiropractors are doing more ads. More PTs are doing ads. There's just ads. Your Facebook feed is all ads.
Ads have changed. How long ago did you say that was?
2 years ago, it's
So how have ads changed in the last 2 years?
Huge.
You're thinking about how are they even consumed?
Right.
You know, how are your hooks?
Right.
How
Right.
fast do they need to
Right.
be? You
Yeah.
know? So yeah, you definitely hit the nail on the head with, you can't not do this because you won't physically have enough time in the day to keep up.
Right.
You know, if guys like, us are out there putting together these things where y'all are still running your practices and
Right.
doing your thing and have unlimited content flow. That's not only educating, but delivering, community impact and thought knowledge so you can be a leader in
Yeah.
your own space. And that's actually interesting because it starts to grow another portion of you as a kind of a doctor or a practice owner. And you have this other, a bubble start to form around as you constantly post all this content.
Yeah.
And it kind of protects you from just that single brick and mortar or a couple of them.
Yeah.
Because you have such a larger reach,
Yeah.
And so that's not even necessarily like the end goal, like, oh, I'm going to go become an influencer or something. But if you're constantly putting out there the content that's shown to drive good leads that are going to convert to patients, that's also just going to grow.
Yes.
Because that's just how it works in
Yes.
this day and age.
Yeah. It is. It's 100%. And I've been saying for a while, like, what if I could just dominate my market with my advertising? And I've been trying. I've been putting tons of money in, scaling back, scaling up, trying different things. There seems like there's a threshold there that you can't get over, but I really think this is it. What if you could take a few minutes, take a couple photos, and then give it to Corey, and then Corey's got like 50 50 ads that you will run over the next, you could cycle them every couple weeks, and you dominate this in your community. I mean, chiropractors can only go 5-10 miles around their clinic. People won't travel much further than that. You dominate that circle, and then you can always create 50 ads, 50 ads, 50 ads, hitting pain points all the time of your ideal client. We're going to dominate 2026.
Yeah.
Like we're just going to do it. So
Excited.
it's just what's going to happen. So that's really cool. So you take it from here. You tell us all about how AI is working, what it even means. We haven't even told them, like, what are we doing? What are we doing with AI?
Oh man, I'm trying to figure out how to say this without just going on a rant and confusing everyone.
Well, where do we start? So how did I start with you? We took a couple photos. I don't even know if you did any videos.
We'll go through the process.
Yeah.
And basically what we're able to do and the way we get to video is you start with a photo. So whether we take a real photo like we did of your practice and of you. Now I came in with the flashes because I have noticed that the more photos you have, the higher quality photos you have, the more precise of an image you're going to get, the higher quality.
Mhm.
We don't have to go crazy, but it also is nice to get like that one hard data set to train from. We can do it straight off of a cell phone, but again, if we're wanting to upscale and go full res, we want to start with that good, what I like to call like a data set capture. But really, it's just a quick photo shoot. We get some headshots and we capture the likeliness of your establishment and anything else. Like if you do the specific scan that you have that you would put on, it would be great to capture that so we don't have to try to recraft it and reprompt it in AI, right? Because it's all about artistic direction at that point. So we capture that, and from there we have the image that we can then mixed with this custom workflow we've been developing over the last couple of years that runs through a series of prompts and creates a data set on your likeliness and how you need to look, how you need to sound, what we can and can't say. So when we script things out, it's right on brand. So then we create that script, and then from there, we're able to, it's just standard production at that point. But it's like, okay, we need our scenes. Rather than having to come and shoot and say, all right, here's your scripts. When can we book this? When can you be available to shoot these videos? We're going to have to take your whole lobby up with 4 guys and a bunch of gear, which, by the way, I used to love doing. I still think all the gear is cool, but you think about the impact, even just to your business in that one day and your schedule. So, and just getting ready for the lines and everything else. So now you get some scripts and you're like, oh, these are perfect. Or whoever you have approving that, or your agency or whatever it is, they're like, yeah, this is great stuff. Or we're working directly with your agency. So you're not even having to get bothered at all, but it's directly on brand because we've done that intake. We had that onboarding call. We figured out what you needed to do for that month. And then we're able to write targeted ads for that. We then put those edits together, lay our audio track, which it's me talking. And then if we take your likeliness from an image, we'll create that first image, like you standing in your lobby. So we use the AI and we create that scene. And then we take that scene with additional prompts that we've structured and create the video. And from there, it doesn't necessarily sound like you, but we have the cadence right and you're delivering the lines. Anything else will be filled in by a narrator. And then we have taken from your podcast and clone your voice. Now, you don't always have to clone yourself. You can have a custom avatar that's always the same person, like the Geico Gecko per se. And you don't have to pay them more as they get famous. But we then have that video and we change everyone's voice, right, to where it all sounds just like you, looks like you. We're creating B-roll shots that, we have kids running in your ads. It's right. It relates to your customer. We talked about you needed to go to families. You needed to go to parents. You have I bring my kids to your practice. You have a great setup. You guys are great at that. And so it relates and looks like the families you're going to serve. We were able to do that without a casting call. Like you were on a couch with like 8 people. And even if it wasn't your lobby exactly, people are just going to see you and relate with you and the people. Like they're not even paying attention to that a lot of times we're finding. So it's about like, wow, okay, hey, that looks like us sitting there. Oh man, yeah. Oh, my girl just fell at soccer and they are clumsy, So you're able to visualize that pain, and prompt that without having to go shoot on a soccer field in the middle of the. So your production value went through the roof. Because how else are you going to get these B-roll shots, as we call it, these cutaway shots.
Right.
You're going to have to go get stock footage, maybe everyone else is using. It looks, like it's outdated, doesn't match.
Right.
So we're making custom on brand again,
Yeah.
right along with the story, like a big budget commercial would be that we would normally start 25,000 or more at.
Right.
Back in the day, if we had to go shoot multiple locations, I mean, it'd be more even depending on how you wanted to do it.
Right.
Even your cast of kids, you think of that. So we create all that, and then we take and we edit it down. And we put the audio track to it, the soundtrack, which, by the way, we also custom design. We can custom write lyrics. I mean, we can do jingles, if you wanted, but, even in our demo reel, this kind of has this just light little sound with, only in Fusion Media AI. And it's subtle, but it's kind of, oh, that's cool. So think about your brand where you have this custom song, if you wanted something like that, but it's not just stock. The guy down the street isn't using it. The other production house isn't using it.
Yeah, it's yours.
Custom made it to sound how you want it to sound.
Yeah.
And then as we do iterations, we just basically, us humans, and we work together to train on what's working and not. And then we just pivot and adjust, but it's always with fresh content.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this didn't really work. Okay, well, let's just do more of these. I mean, think about that, right? You run this stuff as far as in the ad space.
It's amazing.
You have that fresh stream, and you're like, hey, this isn't converting. So let's just kind of cut that down. We don't have to go reshoot a whole other thing. All right, let's just fire up more of these. So then that next month, okay, your next 10 videos are this.
Mm-hmm.
Here's all your photos. You want to be Santa Claus this month and do some adjustments. We can make you Santa Claus. I mean, it's like, what's your creativity level you want to do in your marketing?
Right.
You want to keep it super basic and just on brand? Or do you literally want to be, Santa Claus or the next action figure in some big movie? So every parent, every kid's like, I got to go see that guy. I mean, so think about that context and the quality to which we can make it. Sorry for kind of going on a
it's perfect
there.
Yeah.
But that's how we then wind up with the video at the end.
That's it. I mean, and that's your perspective. I mean, that's amazing. Like, I don't know any of that. So when he says that we prompt this stuff, it's not a 2-sentence prompt. I mean, he's got command center central in there, like how to get these things to look the way they do. So it is a production. It still is production.
With JSON coding. It's weird. I had to become a software developer somewhat.
Wow.
Got generative AI leadership certified through Google, Proctor exam for generative AI. And that's kind of where this lives. And this is the space it is. And it's really diffusion models. So it all starts with noise, and then the AI renders that down to an image. And it's even if you watch sometimes of it doing it on certain apps, it'll show you, and it's like noisy, then it comes in, it's clear, 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 clear. It's just going pixel by pixel. And that's kind of how it's doing it.
Wow.
So off all the training, it's done.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know exactly where I was going with
No, it's great. It's great. And where I'm going with this is like, we know what's working and where advertising is going. So if this is the only section of the podcast you're listening to, here's your gold nugget. It's the hitting the pain points and pretty much the typical ad of like, hey, are you suffering with pain shooting down your arm into your index finger? I mean, very specific. And then you've got an anatomy figure in the background. Like, these are the ones that are hitting it right now, but we're doing it manually. We're recording ourselves. We're taking an image and superimposing us on front of it, which is fantastic. It's working great. And that's where, when you came in I'm like, this solves the issue. Instead of me taking 2 hours to do the one symptom of radiating into the index finger, I can now have index finger, ring finger, pinky finger, carpal tunnel, pinched nerve, double crush syndrome. I could have all of these videos in like minutes out of my time. It's going to take Corey the time to do it. But for my time as the doctor, I don't even have to shoot the videos. We have our persona.
The way I like to put it is, and this is our motto at Fusion Media AI, it's human AI, human in the loop. And a lot of people, when we first started talking, it was like, oh yeah, the AI does this, and then we refine it and finish it. It's like, wait a minute, no, the human starts it. So what you mean by, the little bit of time you have to now put into it is you have to give us your creative direction. You have to give us your knowledge, what you have, because what's the best way to stay visible in a space and relate to your people, and not be like anyone else. You just be yourself, right?
Yep.
Marketing, and in your content, you're just being yourself.
Yeah.
And so that's how you stand out and you differentiate. That's really the only way, because everyone can do everything else the same, right?
Yep.
Human Yeah, so it's the human AI, human in the loop. So it starts with your stuff. A lot of people think AI is just coming up with this.
Right.
So it's just, oh, I press a button and it has it all.
Right.
No, it can do everything, just like your phone. But
Yeah.
if all you do is scroll TikTok, you're never gonna figure out how cancer works, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, this can do that, or
That
fly a
makes sense.
spaceship, right?
That makes sense.
But if you're just,
I don't know if you've played, of course you have. I don't know if you guys have played with some of the imaging on ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok. If you put a still frame photo of yourself in there, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. And it does a 5-second video and it has you doing ridiculous, stupid things.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
It's usually funny, or you start jumping or confetti falls on your head. So you have to give the prompt.
Yes.
Right.
Like, I want to see myself riding a horse off of an ice cliff with a lightning bolt in my hand.
Right. With the weather like this and the grass this color and the, no flowers. And you got to give it
something.
a whole thing.
Now, you can just say, put me in an office.
True.
And you're going to get a lot.
You're going to get a lot of stupid office stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as it gets better, you can, but if you want to be artistic, just like a creative director, when you sit down and get that script and be like, all right, we're going to have you in this field. And then you're gonna be saying this, and the kid's swinging, and you got a whole creative art direction, from a producer that knows how to do that.
That's it.
And if you're not a creative person and you're trying to sit around and think about how to put yourselves in funny videos and ads and everything else, like you're gonna have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
Because
and this is a steep climb. We can't minimize what you're doing. So I don't want the chiropractors being like, oh, this is amazing. This is cool. I'm going to go do my own production.
Well, where I was going with that in the beginning, now that I've, caught up with myself here, trying to keep it on track, is that human AI, human in the loop thing, your little bit of time doesn't mean that we just go press a button with it.
No.
Like there's thousands of buttons pressed. And we could show, the JSON code that we have. That's part of the things we've worked up. And it has a huge data set with literally a markdown format file that looks and then it knows how to read and does all this. But that also allows us to keep up with the pace. If you don't, it's not all automated, but if you don't automate some of the monotonous stuff, then what are we doing here? It's like, hey, red light, but that uses electricity, and I need to just adjust people manually. It's like, but red light works, and it's like, but no, it uses electricity. Trying to break that down into when people come up and say, oh, you're cheating or doing this, I'm just like, you just don't understand at that point. You know? So
makes sense.
And that's what differentiates us with the white glove or white label service, because that's what you're getting, and it's like a typical studio grade production company. And that's what we are, just AI video production company at studio quality. And we can go do the Hollywood stuff, and we can do all those things. You want the monkey to show up at your office, but you don't have to put a huge budget to that and go, okay, let's get on a call and see what creative can do.
That's why AI saves us so much cost and time, and it's creating it for you without having to hire or set it up. It's time, it's precision, but we can see we're painting a great picture here on how this is going to develop. I mean, everyone's going to use it. People have already been using it. The big brands have been using AI and computer generation for years. How do you think a Nike thing the shoe can turn into a banana? I mean, on your television.
Well, it used to. I mean, Nike
CGI, right?
Run about $1 million,
right?
And they still shoot them like that, and a lot of them would still cost quite a bit to get the likeliness of certain characters and athletes. You have to capture that image, that data. It needs to know what that person looks like. You're not just gonna you can prompt it to death and try, but you need that data to start from to then put them in wherever else. We were doing some fun Nike spec spots. I'm working on a Cadillac F1 spot, just a spec spot. It's really neat. It's cool. I'm pulling the imagery offline of the cars so I can put them into these scenarios in my story and my little short film, so it looks exactly on brand and on point. But they had to build that. They had to build that car and take a photograph of it for me to be able to do that.
Right. Yeah, you didn't imagine it or prompt that car.
I could.
You could.
It wouldn't be Cadillacs.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's very cool.
It's not going to be you. I mean, it could be, though, an avatar. Let's say that there's a person you want because you don't want yourself out there.
Yeah.
And you have this.
Make a cartoon version of yourself or animated version or anime or whatever that kind of resembles you, so they know the character that's there. That's fun.
That's your audience.
Well, it depends on what works. So now the next phase is creating this stuff, because now you can. The biggest pain point for chiropractors is they can't get the content done. Hey, take a couple photos of you adjusting. A month goes by. I don't hear from them. Like, hey, do you have those thoracic and lumbar adjustments? They're like, oh, I haven't got my team to do that yet. Just to take 4 photos. Now, if I ask for a video, good luck. Can you take a couple videos? So that slows down the process. Now what we're saying is no longer slows down the process. I mean, now we got your image and we got your likeliness and Corey's going to run with it. That's it. Now we just prompt it and tell it what we need to do. And I think AI will do a great job with anatomy. I think it will do a great job with the human body, anatomy, skeleton. I mean, I think it will do a great job once we're describing this. So think of it as you as the writer and narrator, and Corey is the production team or the producer of this story, the short novel or the short story that we're doing with our advertising. You're going to capture, and that's what we need to do with advertising. We need to capture it. Everyone's gravitating towards TikTok and YouTube because YouTube's figured it out. Short videos, quick attention spans, because TikTok has taught us that. We've trained people to look at things for 7 seconds.
Yeah, well, TikTok has an ecosphere. We were actually down at a pitching conference for unscripted reality shows, and a guy that leads YouTube, and he had a whole, I don't want to go off topic here, but like a big diagram of the podcast, the long form, the short form, and how they're, the micro and how that all ties in. And then like the streaming in over the top. So provide this space just keeps people there, and they can consume all of that. But then, the TikTok, it's crazy the amount of people I run into that get so many qualified leads and convert off of TikTok. And how they, and certain things, like to your point, you start running educational stuff with really good, graphics of where it's shooting down and why and what to do about it.
Right.
That starts going off.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got the pain point. They can visualize the pain point. I think this is why it's working well right now. And we might be back in 9 months talking about something completely different, being like, hey, guess what works now? So, but that's okay. As long as we stay ahead of the curve,
right,
you're winning. You're always going to win.
And that's where we like to be, and that's why it's 2 years deep. And we went and get and I got the certifications, and we want to keep pushing ahead and staying on top of that. So you don't have to.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to have to try to keep up with this. It's like every day, it's like, really, we can do that now?
Yeah.
Like when Nano Banana Pro came out, Gemini 3, I'm sure a lot of the internet's seen that, or anyone out there listening. And if you haven't, go check it out. But it's what's creating stuff that is, completely indistinguishable from a real photo.
Yeah.
But that means now I can put you in your front office and it looks incredibly real. And you're, talking scripts.
Yep.
But you didn't have to figure that out. You're just like, I just get an email and say, dude, all the videos are going to look so much better.
Yeah.
Not that they didn't look good. It's just look at the tool and what it can do now.
Yeah.
It's like, we had VHS, and then we had, beta. And then, and then the film guys were like, digital cameras will never be, now that's behind us, right?
Right.
You're always going to cut on film. No, now we're all non-linear on our, laptops, right? Yep. So just another iteration of technology.
Yes, it's pretty cool. What are some myths you've heard about AI that you think are like, oh man, that's going to hold you back if you keep believing that?
You just press a button.
Right.
It's going to take my job. It's going to take your job if you don't use it. I mean, even a lot of the practices set up automated calling or 24/7 access, someone that can just answer, that sounds like a person, answer 5 or 10 of the questions you always get, calls and reaches out. That's going to be a big thing. So there's other things, even besides just the marketing, that AI, that, business owners need to be aware of, that are just going to go across the board. That if you don't keep up with and implement, it's just like you said, when the websites came out, it took 14 years for a lot of people to implement.
Yeah.
Right?
Or when computers came out, if you decided I'm not going to use these stupid things, well, right, your job was probably taken.
Yeah.
Because you had to switch your job and put it onto a computer.
Remember when you had to type so fast to get a job?
Right. Yeah. Right.
I was like, I remember growing up, I'm like, I'm never going to get a job with a computer.
How many words per minute can you type? Yeah. It's so true. I took a class to get up to 100, Yeah.
That's also like where I come from, and Fusion Media is out with like the understanding of the fundamentals.
Right.
And I think a lot of people they just think it's going to be, I don't know, what scares me is a lot of people don't even know what the movie Terminator is. I asked them, like, oh, there's going to be Terminator. They're like, what's that? I'm like, you got to be kidding me right now. So, but it's not going to replace everything, but it's going to drive a whole new, I'm calling it like the compute revolution. Everything's getting an upgrade.
Yes.
And everything from the hardware side of it in business to the back end to the software you run on needs to get upgraded.
Yeah.
Because it runs differently, it works differently, and so on and so forth. That's why we're also like half SaaS company, which is exciting.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, definitely not it's not a button thing. It's a new language that we just need to get comfortable with.
Well, and even like your one video, I think it was 20, 20 plus for one shot. I was prominent trying to get the right thing.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, like, that's where the magic too is with our editing. Just like if you're filming, you might have some shake in the shot and you have to cut it and edit around that. That's where we're doing that. And so maybe you're walking the right direction, but then you start looking some way weird because it's not all perfect yet. We're taking that, cutting it down. Oh, we can use this part here. Oh, he doesn't look right there. Let's redo that again and change this part. So it's just like I was saying, hey, lighting gaffer, go take that silk and move it because he's too lit right here. It generates something. I'm like, oh, let's adjust that, and then it adjusts it. And so we're able to get that minute detail because of the experience we have. But so if you think about it from that, I'm just using AI. AI is not using me and going to replace me.
Right. No.
And you're not going to just call someone up and say, hey, AI, do what this guy does and make me those.
Yeah.
Make you what? Well, just those. What are those? Make me successful. Well, okay, I'll do what everyone else is doing and good luck.
Yeah. I still think website developers are like that too. Hey, call up a website person. Hey, do that. And they look at the website and they're like, that's pretty fantastic. I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
Because there's different levels to this stuff. There's different skill sets to it. And you're developing yours to be ahead of the curve, which is why we're here today.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's a great myth. Another one, I think chiropractors are pretty safe with the AI. I don't see AI robots coming in and adjusting people, but not for a while. Not for a while.
Do that.
Right. Yeah. So I think we're safe for a while. We can talk about that. But yeah, as far as stealing jobs, it's not. I like what you said. It's not going to steal your job unless you're not willing to use it.
Okay, let's just go down that for 2 seconds. Let's say AI robots come out and they start doing a good job. As a practice owner, why don't you go buy 5 of them?
Right.
And then offer that service.
And then
still be the
program the prompts for them to adjust better.
And also still give human adjustments for anyone that wants that.
Right.
And they'll be able to say they're trained off of me and my awesome adjustments.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I know every chiropractor is a little different.
Right.
That's why I went through a lot before I got
Yeah.
you guys,
Yeah.
So that's just to that point.
Great point.
Even if it happens, just
Yeah.
adapt,
Adapt.
pivot.
There you go.
Don't get scared and hide, because that's what I've been trying to tell all my production buddies. Oh, I'm terrified. It's like, well, then do something about it.
Yeah.
Educate yourself.
Yes.
How can you implement it? How
Yeah.
can you,
Right.
keep doing the same thing you're doing?
Yeah.
Or going to documentaries because, or filming, reality or something, because people are always going to want to consume that. There's
Yeah,
always gonna
true.
be certain,
True.
just like you're saying, chiropractors, everyone in our lifetime's going to want to just go see someone like yourself or like a human chiropractor.
Yeah. We're joking about the robots for now, but you're right. Adapt, and I love that point.
Right.
Great point.
Yeah.
Don't just sit there and be fear. Fear holds us back from everything. That's
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful. And another thing about the ads, if you're hitting pain points like this in volume, you then become the expert because you're able to do, and you're not going to talk about everything. You're not going to cure cancer and diabetes and all that stuff in your office. What you're going to do is you're going to talk about pinched nerves, where they go, all the nerves in the body that can be pinched, the most common ones, sciatic, plantar, fingers, elbows, shoulders. You talk about that. Then you talk about all the discs that can be affected. If you have a disc bulge or disc herniation here at L4, you may have these types of pains, or L5. And I find that that's what the viewers are catching. Those are our patients that are booking the appointment right away. They answer that first text. They don't even have, we call them, they book. They don't even know about the promo.
Yeah, no,
They didn't even care about the $49. They're like, what is it gonna, what do I need to do to come there and get fixed?
You're the guy that solves my problem.
Bingo.
Let me give me your money.
Bingo.
That's what I did.
Yeah, they come on in and they're like, hey, did you pay the $49? They're like, I don't know.
Well, the thing is, and I was referred from the Facebook group in my neighborhood, but wink,
Right.
wink to everyone out there. But like from a guy sitting here in pain right now that, we're working on long time injury.
Yep.
If I watch a video that talks specifically to me from someone in my community, and then even if like a lot of times my wife, hey, go see this guy, look what he's posting, or this group's posting this and he's right down the road,
Right.
And a friend has something to share with me to say, oh yeah, you were talking about this and here's the video we talked about that. I'm going to book with this person. But what did you get in this profession to do? Help people.
Mhm.
So now you're reaching more of your community to help them by
Yes.
educating them and letting them know they're there and there's a safe and comfortable spot to come get treated correctly.
Yeah.
And you're having more of an impact as what you wanted to originally do.
Mhm.
And not learning how to create content and become an influencer,
Right.
Feel like you need to do that to
Yeah.
be able to do it and help more people.
Yeah, I keep pumping
So-
the brake on this episode because I don't want you to feel like you need to jump into AI production, right? That's what Corey's done. You don't have the time to get Google certified and all this other stuff. So what you need to do is just be aware, knowledgeable, and not afraid of what's coming next so that you can use it and adapt to it. And I think it's going to be even easier than it was last year, where we were sitting in front of the camera, shooting a video for 5 minutes, editing it, clipping it, and being like, okay, that's what I'm going to use for my Facebook ad. Sitting in front of getting camera right, getting everything all right. You just take a couple photos, and now you have your avatar. Your avatar just continues to get better. The more information you give it, the more images you give it, the better it gets. And then you just keep using that, getting more creative with what works and what doesn't work.
Well, you made an interesting point, because so many other iterations of generative AI, when it comes to audio or giving lectures, putting a free webinar out there that sounds like you can take a white paper you've written, or what do you guys call them in your industry, where you've put out.
You can do a peer-reviewed or a white paper or
and you can turn that
case study.
into a podcast that sounds just like you.
Yeah.
You can have graphics on the screen. You could do this whole thing, and that could be produced. So, like, let's say you sent us all this data, and we then regurgitate data, all this stuff that's exactly what you've done, and now that's all out there.
Yeah.
People aren't going to take time to go sit and write your white paper, but if we break it down into micro clips that's all over the feeds of everyone, and they're now, whoa, oh wow, it's just stuff it's gold that's been sitting there. It's data. Data is gold right now.
It is. Yeah. I've been harping for 7 years with these chiropractors, your blogs.
Yeah.
Your written blogs. AI is going to eat that up. It's in text format. They can eat it up. It's data for them. So if you've written some good blogs in the past, that's the prompt. You use that, and you feed it to that, and you get some great information, and your avatar gets better over time. So that's I think where we're moving. I think that's 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do another one of these about AIO and AI optimization for your blogs, because writing them about that. Maybe if you have talked about that already.
Yeah. No, we just touched on it. So yes, that's what we got to talk about. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for this. This is amazing. I think this is it when it comes to production and having the right team. And what I've done with the digital space, with the digital agency space, is, helping chiropractors run profitable ads. That's the whole point. If you're going to put $1 in, you want to make $3-4 back, and that's a successful ad. This is the way to do it at volume, while using the same ad spend, which is amazing. What's happening for everyone else is they just have to keep upping their ad spend as time goes on.
Well, and if you factor in the cost of how much, if it costs $25,000 to get you,
oh yeah, no, you've wiped out all chiropractors. Yeah.
Well, how many clients do you need to get from that?
That's a year's worth of,
or patients do you need to get from that to get that ad spend to a
right. And I remember you guys 10 years ago coming to the office, being like, let's shoot a commercial. Yeah. It's $8,000. It's gonna be $8,000, like $8,000. And I was doing the math. I was like, okay, well, they'd be like, well, what's a patient spend in your office? I'm like, oh, about $1,000. Like, great. Hey, you just need 8 patients. I was like, oh, you're right. Yeah. Just need 8 patients. And then, you pull the trigger, and boy, do you have to work hard to get that $8,000 back. But that's the same thing here is, how much you're going to put in. I think the volume you get now, the volume you get out of this now is better per dollar than it was before.
And the cost point, and then now everyone you get in is worth so much more.
Yes.
And now it costs so much less to acquire that. It costs to acquire a customer.
Yeah.
Patient.
It's not a commercial where people are coming in, okay, you sound good. How can you help me? It's now people like, you solve the problem that no other doctor has talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you nailed it.
And I don't have to take any time to do it.
That's right.
And I don't have to schedule on a Saturday to shoot this.
Yeah.
My wife and kids are going to love me.
Yes. Awesome. Great episode. Thanks, man. We'll do this again. Thanks for your time. Appreciate you.
Yes. Thanks for having me. It's been great.
Awesome. Good. And we'll just cut out the end there.
Oh, man. Oops. Well, man, sorry. I fell apart. I was like brain locked in there.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, and leave a rating. It helps get our podcast out to more listeners. Also, join Marketing 101 for Chiropractors on Facebook, or visit us at enricod.com for more information on growing and scaling your business.